Hello everyone, you have come to Tata Comic Preview channel. Let read together. Have fun. This is an art collage novel video. I made this series so you guys can experience the story faster. The video will focus on the character's psychology, the images are for illustration purposes only. Zhou had severed her golden lotus and was recultivating. Naturally, she was not a match for the 8-leaf Su Shang. The 4-leaf Zhou had done well to be able to exchange several blows this far. If Su Shang attacked with his full strength, he could have easily killed a 4-leaf cultivator with a single strike. Su Shang summoned his 100-foot avatar that towered above everyone. An 8-leaf golden lotus spun under its feet. He was convinced Zhu's cultivation base was not what it used to be. Zhou took several steps backward and tossed the coiling dragon staff in the air. A huge circle emerged under her feet. Script seals arranged themselves neatly as they shone with golden light. Su Shang was perplexed. An enhancement formation, but you won't be affected. Suddenly, a voice rang from behind Zhou. Young man, you're too green. Whiz. A huge gourd bottle energy seal passed through Zhou's formation as it grew in size. Pan Litian shot toward them. He sent his golden gourd bottle energy seal crashing toward his opponent's head-on. Boom. The golden gourd bottle energy seal hit the 100-foot-tall avatar, stirring up a gust of violent air. A shocked expression appeared on Su Shang's face as he reeled back from the huge impact with his avatar. Bam. A loud explosion sounded as Su Shang collided with the inner wall of the barrier. Pan Litian hovered in the air as the golden gourd bottle spun around him. His eyes were trained on Su Shang. I know barriers can't keep Confucian elites like you who are masters of formations. In that case, we'll let you in. This move is called, to close the door and hit the dog. Su Shang had gone to much trouble before he finally entered the barrier. However, now that he had entered, would he be able to get out? Just how much primal chi would he waste by traveling back and forth? Su Shang stabilized his avatar as he looked at Pan Litian. He now understood why Zhou had activated her formation. He would not allow himself, one of the 8 great generals, to be humiliated like this. He joined his palms together and cried out, in that case, don't blame me for what happens next. Su Shang's 100-foot avatar flew out. Upon seeing this, Pan Litian retreated. At this moment, the 6 compatible seal appeared behind Zhou. 5 scripts surrounded the largest script as they spun. Hua Wudao flew toward them and landed on Zhou's formation. The 5 scripts immediately turned into 9 scripts. Boom. Su Shang's golden lotus avatar collided with the 6 compatible seal. With this opening, Pan Litian unleashed his golden gourd bottle energy seal at the avatar. I see. Su Shang shouted, expansive heavenly energy. With Su Shang in the center, his surging primal chi rippled out into the surroundings. Bam. Pan Litian pulled the golden gourd bottle energy seal with a single hand before he tossed it. A black shadow flitted past. Soon, the skies were filled with black figures. Bam. 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 In just a blink of an eye, countless footprints hit the golden gourd bottle energy seal. With the extra push, the golden gourd bottle energy seal pierced through Su Shang's energy and landed on the avatar. Boom. Su Shang reeled back with his avatar. The black figure belonged to the Evil Sky Pavilion's elder, Lang Luo. At this moment, the Evil Sky Pavilion's 4 elders hovered in the air. After Su Shang stabilized his footing, he looked at the 4 elders in shock. He retracted his 100 Tribulations Insight avatar and flipped backward, leaving the barrier. Pan Litian clenched his hand and recalled his golden gourd bottle. Su Shang's gaze was complicated as he looked at the 4 elders. He felt resentful. The Evil Sky Pavilion's 4 elders? Young man, the Evil Sky Pavilion isn't a place where you can behave as you pleased. Su Shang said, alas, this only reveals your cultivation bases haven't been restored. I was careless earlier, but I won't make the same mistake twice. Let's kick this up a notch. As he spoke, he looked at the box behind Lu Ge, Emperor Yong Shou. Lu Ge was the source of Su Sheng's confidence. He closed his eyes. The turbulent wind around him finally calmed down. After inhaling once, he opened his eyes again. Whiz. A 100-foot avatar appeared again. Chain-like talisman seals appeared around the avatar. The seals formed a single line that spun around the avatar. Pan Litian said, "Elders, what do you say?" Zhou Yushu, Lang Luo, and Hua Wudao nodded at the same time. "Naturally, we fight." Ming Shirin was filled with emotions. He said, as expected of the Evil Sky Pavilion's elders. "This is too awesome. I'd like to see how the elders are going to deal with an 8-leaf cultivator." "Now," Pan Litian said gruffly. As soon as Pan Litian finished speaking, apart from Hua Wudao who had advanced several meters, the other 3 elders turned tailed and fled back toward the Evil Sky Pavilion. They vanished in just an instant. Hua Wudao. Ming Shirin. How could they bully an honest person like this? Is this how you old farts deal with an 8-leaf cultivator? Hua Wudao hastily fled as well. Su Sheng was perplexed. Why did they run away? It was taxing to maintain a 100-foot avatar, so he quickly retracted it by clenching his hand. He turned around and said, "Your Majesty, I'd like to break this formation. Kindly give the decree." Lu Ge shook his head and said, "We shouldn't be rude." Understood. The barrier was like a door. For masters of formations, barriers could hardly impede them. Even cultivators such as the 5 mice of Upper Prime City could tamper with the formation veins through unique means and bypass the barrier. Back then, Pan Litian had lost his cultivation base, and yet, he made it through the barrier with his gourd bottle. If the person did not understand formations, they could only forcibly break it like what the 10 great sects did. However, against such a barrier, it was better to use brains than brawn. Whoosh. An energy arrow sailed toward them at this moment. Su Sheng frowned slightly. He raised his palm and deflected the energy arrow. He saw Hua Yueshing standing atop the southern pavilion. She was pulling on a more powerful energy arrow. Sneak attack? Is everyone in the Evil Sky Pavilion despicable? Su Sheng rose into the air and struck with his palms several times. A few talisman seals shot out. Hua Yueshing's expression changed slightly as she pulled on her bowstring. "Miss Yueshing, fall back." Ming Shirin rose into the air and flew toward the Evil Sky Pavilion at lightning speed. Hua Yueshing was not a match for an 8-leaf opponent. Even the 4 elders had fled. "You can't run away." Su Sheng's talisman seals were just a hair's breadth away from the barrier. At this moment, a black umbrella shot toward them from the side. Bam. 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 The black umbrella opened and blocked the talisman seals as it spun in the air. Su Sheng looked up. An old cultivator dressed in long robes flew toward them at blinding speed. His grand technique flashed a few times before he finally landed on top of the umbrella. Huang Shiji. Su Sheng recognized the old man. He was none other than Huang Shiji, the master of Penglai Island Master. "Huang Shiji, how can I be excluded from such a lively occasion?" Guiran looked up fiercely. He pushed away from the ground and shot up like a fired arrow. He joined his palms together and closed his fingers as he shot toward Huang Shiji. "Huang Shiji, you're my opponent." Huang Shiji looked over. Another 8-leaf cultivator? He raised a hand, a huge palm seal appeared in front of him. Bam. Abandon wisdom. The palm seal collided with abandon wisdom, stirring up the wind. The 2 of them flew into the distance at the same time. Huang Shiji kept a palm in front of himself. Then, he raised his left hand. Bam. Huang Shiji sent his opponent retreating with a single strike. The 2 of them looked at each other from a distance. This abandoned wisdom had widened Huang Shiji's horizons as well. Guiran rose into the air after he stabilized himself and said, "Since when did Penglai Island ally itself with the Evil Sky Pavilion?" I'm old friends with Brother Ji. His problems are my problems as well. Huang Shiji, are you really going to meddle in this? Guiran asked. So long as I'm here. Nobody is allowed to touch the evil sky pavilion. Huang Shiji looked at Su Sheng, who was hovering at the back. Then, he looked at the evil sky pavilion within the barrier as he called up his primal chi. The black umbrella flew back into his hand, and he flipped his left palm. With this, countless afterimages of him and the umbrella filled the air as the black umbrella shot out countless energy seals. Guiran shouted, 100 Tribulations Insight. Su Sheng summoned his 100 Tribulations Insight avatar as well. The two avatars shot past the energy seals in the skies at the same time, leaving energy ripples in their wake. Bam. 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 Both sides were engaged in a fierce battle. Lu Ge, who was prepared to enter the barrier, looked at the fight with great interest. The skies were already filled with the trio's silhouettes. This battle was of a much higher level compared to the battles that happened near Golden Court Mountain in the past. Huang Shiji is helping the evil sky pavilion? Lu Ge stood with his hands on his back as he looked at the fight. An imperial bodyguard walked over. Shall we head up, Your Majesty? There's no rush. Lu Ge watched the battle. Huang Shiji, Su Sheng, and Guiran fought for dozens of rounds, and yet, there was no victor. Lu Ge looked at the sun again and calmly said, Open the box. Understood. Two imperial bodyguards opened the first box. Clack. A sword with red veins was revealed. The imperial bodyguards were staring at the sword with widened eyes. Lu Ge opened his hand, and the sword flew into his hand. This sword's name is High Void, a super heaven-grade weapon. Lu Ge no longer offered any explanation. The words, super heaven-grade, was more than enough to show how extraordinary the sword was. The two imperial bodyguards shuddered. They bowed and said, Your Majesty's might knows no bounds. Lu Ge looked at the three opponents fighting in the air. He held High Void in his hand as he rose into the sky. Lu Ge was finally making a move. He looked like a bolt of lightning as he flew in the air. His sword was not ostentatious, the red veins did not stand out as well. Since the trio was locked in a melee, they did not notice Lu Ji's sword coming at them. Like a meteor, Lu Ge shot past Su Sheng and Guiran toward Huang Shiji. Bam! High Void's energy sword collided with the black umbrella. An explosion of energy rang in the air. The trio was sent flying by this strange power. A chip appeared on the black umbrella. Huang Shiji felt chills running up his spine when the sword energy shot through the black umbrella and pierced through his protective energy. Bam! Huang Shiji reeled back. The black umbrella fell. 9-leaf? Huang Shiji looked incredulously at the falling black umbrella. He spat out a mouthful of blood. The first thought that appeared in his mind was that Lu Ge was a 9-leaf cultivator. He kept reeling. Su Sheng and Guiran stabilized their footing and greeted Lu Ge in unison. Your Majesty. When they saw High Void in Lu Ji's hand, they finally realized the box held the sword. I hope you'll be able to withstand another hit from my sword. Lu Ge circulated his primal chi. High Void vibrated. When Huang Shiji saw the sword in Lu Ji's hand, his heart sank. An ominous feeling rose within him. Ming Shirin appeared to be worried as well. He was the one who called Huang Shiji over. If something happened to Huang Shiji, how was he supposed to explain it to his master? Boom! A loud explosion rang from the direction of the evil sky pavilion. The others looked over and saw a puzzling scene. A faint blue light shrouded Lu Zhou as he crashed through the ceiling of the hidden chamber and rose into the sky. He sat with his legs crossed, and his eyes were still closed. Master? The pavilion master has emerged from his cultivation in seclusion? The evil sky pavilion disciples looked up. What's happening? Nobody understood what was happening. Lu Ge stopped his movements and looked at Lu Zhou. Su Sheng and Guiran looked at Lu Zhou as well. When Lu Zhou appeared, the evil sky pavilions for elders emerged from the pavilion and looked at the heavens. The other disciples flew up the southern pavilion and watched from a distance. Lu Ge held High Void in a backhand grip and kept it behind himself. He cupped his fists at Lu Zhou. "Brother Ji, we meet again." "Greetings, Senior Ji." Su Shang and Guiran bowed in the air. Yet, Lu Zhou's eyes remained shut. He did not seem to have heard them. Lu Zhou flew out of the barrier and stopped in the skies, dozens of meters away from the barrier. Lu Ge drew level with Lu Zhou. As far as he could see, he was surrounded by mountains, rivers, and forests. Lu Zhou did not respond to him. Lu Ge repeated himself. "Brother Ji, we meet again." Lu Zhou remained silent. Su Shang said in a hushed voice, "Your Majesty, be careful." Suddenly, Guitan raised his palm and sent a palm seal over. The palm seal was instantly upon Lu Zhou. Bam! The palm seal scattered and vanished without a trace. What was happening? Guiran was baffled. He looked at Lu Ge and said, "Your Majesty, I was just trying to probe Senior Ji. Please forgive me." Probe? Lu Ge glanced at Guiran. "If there had been an ounce of selfishness in your actions, I wouldn't forgive you." Guiran's back broke out in cold sweat upon hearing this. He bowed and said, "I dare not." This was not the time for internal quarrels. Lu Ge looked at Lu Zhou, who was sitting cross-legged in the air, still shrouded by a faint blue light. "Congratulations on coming out from your cultivation in seclusion, Brother Ji." He had infused powerful primal chi into his words, and they resounded thunderously. Every syllable struck at the faint blue light around Lu Zhou. Lu Ji's sound technique was instantly nullified. It had no effect whatsoever. What cultivation method is Master using? Zhu Honggong's eyes widened. He was standing in the southern pavilion. A defensive cultivation method like the Golden Buddha body, but I've never seen this before. Lu Zhou was lost in the power. To gain the power to hear everything so that we can hear voices in all realms at will. This was the first power of the heavenly writings Earth Scroll, the clear heavenly ears. It could be used to listen and to filter out sounds. The sounds of the outside world were completely blocked out. This included sound techniques. Lu Ji's expression was grave as he said, "As expected, Brother Ji is at the 9-leaf stage." Lu Zhou had used his power to activate the armor's power before this. It was clear that the extraordinary power was beyond the 9-leaf stage. It was not surprising that Lu Ge would have such thoughts. Lu Ge continued to say, "If that's the case, please forgive me, Brother Ji. For the safety and peace of the world, I'm willing to be cursed for betraying a brother and a friend." Whiz. 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 High Void thrummed in Lu Ji's hand. Su Shang and Guiran watched with an expectant expression on their faces. They knew Lu Ge was about to attack the only 9-leaf cultivator in the world. Lu Ge flipped his right hand and pointed High Void at Lu Zhou. A word seal appeared. Swoosh. His expression remained grave. He was calm as he watched the sword energy shoot toward Lu Zhou's chest like a bullet. The evil sky pavilion's disciples, elder, female cultivators, and Huang Shiji widened their eyes as they witnessed this scene. All of them cried out in unison. "Master! Pavilion Master! Brother Ji!" The sword seal seemed to be capable of passing time and space as it sailed across the sky. With its lightning speed, it drew close to Lu Zhou. Bam! The blue lights suddenly converged at one point. Lu Ge was sent flying back for 10 meters. He flipped in the air and quickly stabilized his footing. Then, he raised his wizened hand, and High Void returned to him. His eyes widened when he looked at Lu Zhou. He parried High Void? When Lu Ge was still on the throne, he had secretly tested High Void's might. He was certain that High Void could break a heaven-grade weapon. Ever since then, he kept High Void a tightly guarded secret. The sword was his trump card. The mysterious elite had once said that there should not be a 9-leaf cultivator in the world. He was supposed to cut the person down with this sword if a 9-leaf cultivator appeared. The mysterious elite had left behind a chant that could be used to activate the red veins on High Void. Lu Go looked at the red veins on High Void and no longer hesitated. For the people, for Great Yen, for the imperial family, he could not allow a 9-leaf cultivator to exist. Lu Go attacked again. The sword sliced through the air. The blue energy appeared again, forming an impenetrable barrier around Lu Zhou. Bam. 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 After images appeared fleetingly in the sky as Lu Go shot to the left and right, moving at a blinding speed. Every time he moved, he would conjure up an energy sword to strike the blue energy. Bam. 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 The energy swords rained down like a tempest. His rhythm picked up as well. This scene reminded everyone of the sword devil, Yu Shangrong. Your Majesty. Su Sheng gulped. Guiran said, no wonder His Majesty is bold enough to come here. At this moment, Lu Go suddenly stopped moving and hovered before Lu Zhou. He held High Void between his palms as he chanted. The red veins shone brighter. Lu Go was delighted. He looked at Lu Zhou, who was still sitting cross-legged in the air, pointedly. Then, he cried out in a deep voice, go. With High Void at the center, the energy sword enlarged and sliced down. The huge energy sword collided with the blue energy. Boom. The aftershock from the collision rippled outward. Boom. 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 In just a blink of an eye, Lu Ge, Su Sheng, and Guiran were hit by the shockwave. The three of them reeled back. Since Lu Ge was standing the closest to the point of collision, the shockwave struck him square on the chest. He spat out a mouthful of blood as he was sent flying back. The entire place was deathly silent. The huge energy sword had vanished as well. High Void fell slowly before it struck the barrier with a clang. The red veins dimmed. Upon seeing this, Lu Ge was confused. However, more than anything else, he was frightened. From the beginning until the end, Lu Zhou did not open his eyes at all. He did not even defend himself, at least not knowingly. And yet, nobody could move him. What was wrong? Huang Shiji's thoughts were complicated as he watched from afar. He mumbled to himself, if Brother Ji is so strong, what am I doing here? He decided to just watch. Meanwhile, the evil sky pavilions for elders watched with their mouths agape. Their mouths felt dry at this moment. He's not even doing anything? The pavilion master's eyes are still shut. Is he asleep? I've never conceded to anyone throughout my entire life. The pavilion master is the first person.